Hello, my name is Cole Van Dusen, and today my final presentation on Georgia Public Safety Administration is going to be the smoking age. So, problems and historical background. So, tobacco was originally founded when Christopher Columbus came to the Americas, and ever since then, uh, he founded a use for using tobacco, and he brought it over to England, and then that's when it started to become more popular in everyday life, and bigger corporations started forming to make cigarettes and tobacco products as cigars and cigarettes. And now, in today's age, it's going to go past that fad and more towards the vaping scene and vaping products. In 1968, there was a study done, and it said that 78% of people who smoked were having an increased chance of receiving cancer from smoking. And what they want to do and what everyone wants to do and what some states have changed to do, 18 states, including New York, California, and Washington, Texas, they have changed their uh, laws for buying cigarettes and any tobacco or vaping products to 21 because of the age gap. So you might as well, since you got to drink and that's more of a responsible age, you can go and you can use that as, I guess, an argument to make that having a responsible age of being 21, you make a better decision of whether to smoke cigarettes or not. So levels of bureaucratic power, you got the cabinet, which is like your vice president, president, everybody in the higher ups. You got your independent executive agencies, which is going to be the agencies that are run by the government and are more actually privatized. They have like the same rules as government agencies, but they're more of a privatized business, other than independent regulatory agencies, which are like your FDA, your CIA, all that stuff. Those are your independent regulatory agencies that are run by the government so that they can perform government duties while the rest of the government is doing something else. And then government corporations, that's, your bigger people, your bigger fish. Administrative law. So FDA rule. The FDA rules stated that ever since it began, it had to all cigarettes had to be, labeled saying that these can cause cancer. There's a nicotine warning packages, all that stuff, and ingredients as well on the cigarettes to say, hey, listen, like these are bad for you. You're running your own risk. You get cancer. It's not the government's fault. It's someone else's fault. It's your fault. Um, and I think by now having more and more uh, research and more studies done and more commercials for anti-smoking, there will be more of a push for this 21 rule. Ethics, the big picture here, the big thing everyone looks at is the money, the dollar signs, how much money that they can make from the dumb teenage crowd, the young adults, the older adults, and even the seniors and baby boomers who were all around when smoking started becoming a thing. This is a huge ethical issue because there are big corporations that are coming into congressmen and different types of like leaders in on the Hill saying, hey, listen, like we'll give you some of our profits kind of under the table if you don't pass this bill, because if you have younger people wanting to smoke and doing smoking prolongedly, they're going to keep going at it. And they look at the bigger picture of, okay, well, they're going to be 18. By the time that they pass away from smoking, they'll be 60 instead of, and there's a high chance of them smoking rather than them being 21 and maybe a lower chance of them smoking. So ethically, money is a huge issue in their core values. I also want to go back to ethics. Ethics is basically when you have a certain mindset and you know what's wrong but you have to think about it. So, for example, right, ethically, if you steal a candy bar, that's wrong, right? Some people still do it. They're just not ethically there. That's not ethics. Negotiating bargaining process. So you got the federal, state, and local level. The federal level is a lot harder than obviously the local level. Local level, you can just roll that into your town hall, which is what I did for my Eagle Scout certifications and Eagle Scout stuff, and went right in there and told them what I wanted to do. Got a meeting, sat down, and presented everything, and got it approved. Right, to build anything from benches to I've actually built a nature trail. So federal is a lot harder to get into because you gotta know certain types of people. You gotta wait a certain amount of time. You might not even be ready by then if they even give you time even earlier, or they might even just say, "You know what? We don't even want to hear you. Sorry, it is what it is." You come back in 2 years. We got you something good. State, it's a little bit harder. It's in the middle. State, negotiating bargaining processes, it's a little bit harder to, get in contact with. But with the states, they talk a little bit more to the local level, a lot more than the federal level, because, states don't really like the federal government, because why would you want to have someone regulate you? Democrats. But the issue is that, if we go and we have a federal, state, and local level, right? And someone comes to them and says, "Hey, listen, like we have, like this great idea, right? For local government, you go to the local government, we have this great idea. Let's change it to 21, the smoking age." Perfect. You show them the facts, you show them everything. They like it. They might make it into the law for the local county government. Hey, you got to be 21 in order to buy cigarettes here, man. Sorry. Then they'll push it. Then you go to each different types of local county governments. Go from Lee County, maybe Pinellas, maybe Sarasota, maybe Miami-Dade, go to Hillsborough, Orange County, you go to all these different sets of counties, and then eventually if they start changing, the state's going to notice it. So the state's going to be like, "Hey man, like, yo, let's make this into let's make this a statewide thing." State gets on board. Then they talk to all the other states, and states then talk to the federal. So, it's just a never ending negotiating bargaining process between those two. Private industry as part of a public policy, McConnell bill. So this dude McConnell, Kentucky, I think he's Kentucky, Kentucky congressman, right? He wants to pass a bill to make it federally that you have to smoke cigarettes, or you can buy cigarettes or any vaping, smoking products, anything like that, at 21. He had some backing, very minimal backing, and some people just aren't in the push for it. That, like I said, it's all about the money. They're getting paid from these big corporations. They don't want to be backing that. But you got 18 states that are saying, "Dude, like, this is a good idea. Like, their smoking ratings are dropping down." Maybe that's a good thing. So hopefully in the near future, private industry, will, I know that Juul and a lot of high end corporations for smoking want this. They put 100% into them, saying, "Hey, listen, man, like we're down with that. That's fine. We're okay. Like that. It's not gonna hurt us because they're not too worried because kids are gonna want to smoke anyways. So even if they're not even 18, you can't really stop them. That's when parental comes in." But anyway, so the McConnell bill, it's a great plan. Private industry, and that's my presentation, right? Yep, and there's my references. Well, hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much, and have a good day.